we will do some basic installations. Okay, so just set up. So set up our system for Django. All right, so let's just go over what we learned yesterday. Okay, so we said for the Django is just a framework, okay, for Python. A framework for Python. All right, we said that for Python on its own cannot be, or cannot use Python to write a web application or mobile applications. Okay, so what you need to do is just to create a framework. That means to add other components. Okay, that will make it very easy for you to create a web application using Python. So that's why we have frameworks. Okay, so I said for JavaScript, for instance. So JavaScript, okay, can either use React, use Angular, JS, use React Native for creating mobile applications. So but the basis is just JavaScript for all these languages I've mentioned. Okay, so for Python, we said the framework is Django. So we just go to how to install Django, and also yesterday we talked about virtual environments. Okay, so virtual environment. All right. So first, let me just go through pip. Okay. So yesterday we talked about pip. We said for our system to understand a language, okay, if you want your system to understand a language, you need to install that language. The same thing for human being. If you want to understand a specific language, you need to learn. Okay, so for computers, you just have to install it. So we've done the installation of Python. So to use Django, you need to install Python, okay, because that's the mother or the parent. So once you install Python, the next thing to get is Django, okay. So we said the Python has a package manager or like a model or a function in it that can be used to install other packages, okay, or other frameworks. So for instance, if I want to venture into data science, Python on its own is not enough for me, okay? I need to use somebody's package or I need to use a well-known package. So we mentioned some of the packages. We said for data scientists, you can just use NumPy, Panda, and the rest. Okay, you can just use any of these. So we said for the Django, that means we need to install the Django. So to install the Django, the package manager for Python is what we call pip. Okay. So in order for me to install Django, I need what we call the pip. Okay, so I need to install the pip on my machine in order for me to get Django. Okay, if I want to get Django, or if I want to do data science, I want to use NumPy, I want to use Panda. Okay, if I want to use any package in Python, I need to install pip. So today we'll go over on how to install pip. Okay, we'll talk about virtual environment. Okay, so basically that's what we talked about yesterday. Okay, so if you already have Python, last month or so, the first class that we had, we installed Python. But to confirm whether you have Python, just open your command prompt. Okay, so just press on your start menu and just search for command prompt or CMD. If you're on Mac, you can just open the terminal. Okay, so this is my terminal. All right, so to check whether I have Python, because you said to use Django, you first need to have Python. Okay, so to check whether you have Python, you just type Python space dash version. Okay. All right. So you said the command is not found. All right. If you're on Windows, if you've installed Python, if you use Python dash version, you get the
Hello.
version of Python that you are using.
Hello, please. Have you shared the screen?
Hello.
Okay, you're on full screen now.
Yeah, we are only
Okay. So we said to confirm whether you have Python, if you're on Windows, just type Python space dash version. Okay. Okay, so here will give you the next line will give you the version of the Python that you are using. So that would confirm that you have Python installed on your machine. It means your machine understands Python language. All right. But if you're on Mac, you just have to type Python and the version. Okay, so Python 3. I'm using version 3. So Python 3 space, that's that version. Okay, so once I entered it, it means I have Python installed because it has given me the version. All right. The next thing that we said is that you need to also check whether you have pip installed because to get Django, you need the pip. All right. So to check whether you have pip, if you're Windows,
Maka, sorry, I'm on Windows, but I have this. It's the system cannot find the file path, so I don't know how to do it.
okay. All right. So let me just take you through that one. Yesterday's class, we talked about that. Let me just share the screen and let's go through why you are having that error. Okay. All right. So yesterday we talked about system variables. Okay. All right. So this is the basic explanation. We said for any machine, okay, for instance, if I install Python, it will be installed in a particular folder. Okay, so on Windows, it means if I go into that folder, only that folder understands Python language. Okay, so it means if you start your command prompt, if you're on Windows and you start your command prompt, you would notice that the default page that will take you is, let's say, system32 or whatever. That's not where you install the Python. Okay. So in that case, to make every place or anywhere on your machine to understand Python, you need to add the part of Python to your system variables. So always after the class, I will send you how to add Python to your system variables so that anywhere you are, if you type Python, that's that version, it will work.
All right, sure. Thank you.
not only Elvis. I would also like to have some.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'll send to you and you get it. So we said that's why when you are installing Python,
Then please send it to the group.
sure, I will. Okay, so that's why when you are installing Python, you have to take add python.exe to path. If you do that, it will add it automatically to the system variables. Okay, you don't need to do that manually. Okay, so let me just move on. All right, so we said to confirm whether you have pip, it's the same thing you need to do. Okay, you type pip space, that's that version. Pip space, that's that version. Okay, and you get the version of pip that you are using. Okay, but we said for Mac OS, you need to add the version. Okay, if you're on Windows, if you type pip space, that's that version, it will come. Okay, but here I have to add the version. So pip 3, that's a version. Okay, so now it has given me the version of pip that I have. So pip this is from this Python. Okay, all right, so it means I also have pip installed. If you don't have pip installed, I'm sharing the whiteboard. Okay, I'm just pasting the URL on how to get the pip. All right, so to get the pip, what you need to do is just should I paste the URL? Yes, let me just paste the URL. Okay, so let me just open the URL and show you how to do that. Okay, so I have it here. Okay, so I've shared my screen. Okay, so you go to this website to get pip installed. Okay, so you just go to pypy.org. So project/pip. Okay, or you can just use Google. Okay, or say install pip on my Windows. Okay, and just type enter. You can just use the first link, or you can use the main one. All right, so this is how to install pip. Okay, download files. Okay, so you can just download this and run, or let's just open the first URL that came up. Okay. All right, so to do that, okay, you can just use this query: python space get pip.py. Okay, so that's the installation process on how to get pip on your machine. So python space get pip.py. All right, and once you are done, you can run it and you can check the version of your pip. Please, is anyone using Windows machine?
Yes,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
using. Yes,
Okay,
I'm
so can
using
you
Windows.
test whether you have pip?
Unfortunately,
Can you test whether you have pip with this query that we have here?
yes, I tried that one.
Okay, and do you have it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so what happens is even the latest Python that comes up, okay, it adds pips automatically. But previously, that wasn't the case. You need to install it separately. But so I'm sure most of you have. Elvis, do you have it?
Not yet.
Okay, so when you type pip, okay, because
I've typed the pip install pip on my Windows. It has taken me to the website. So
okay,
the
so
call get
all right, so this is your issue because you don't have Python as your what's the name?
the
As
path.
part of your as part of your system variables. You will not be able to install pip from there unless you go into the Python folder. Then you can use Python. Okay. So after this class, I will just send you the steps on how to go about that issue.
All right, sure.
But those who clicked add Python to path, I'm sure you have pip installed. All right. Now let's go to a very important feature that we have in Python, okay, called virtual environment, because we'll be using it for our first class. Thus, we will use it today. Okay. Okay. So let me explain the virtual environment. So it's a virtual environment. So it's an environment. The machine that I'm working on currently. Okay. So let me just draw it for us to understand it. So this is my whole machine. Okay. And this whole machine understands Python from what we've done so far. So it means, let's say, if I have a project from, let's say, Facebook, okay, and Facebook wants these packages. Let's say they want NumPy, they want, let's say, RI, they want BI, okay. They want all these packages to be in their Python project, okay. So it means I have to install these three on my machine. All right. Now, another client will come, okay. So if another client come and that client doesn't want all these three packages, okay, so let's say that other client who want Panda, let's say these are just some imaginary packages, Python, let's say MySQL, whatever. Okay, so it means we have these 6 packages on my machine, okay, which actually doesn't make sense. So Python has made it in such a way that You can create a virtual environment for, let's say, Facebook. Then you create a virtual environment for Python, for, let's say, Instagram or Twitter, so that you wouldn't have all these 6 packages on your machine. So in that case, you have one big virtual environment, that's your machine. One big environment, that's your machine. Then you've created a virtual environment, like you have created a single machine, okay, or multiple machines on the same machine, okay, and they will exist on their own. All right, so that's the virtual environment. So it's very important. So each project that you use is very important to start it in a virtual environment. Okay. So that's for the virtual environment. Now, yesterday we talked about the MVT. Okay, we said in program language there's a general term that we use, MVT. Okay, we said the M is for model. Okay, the V is for view, and the T, okay, is for template. All right, so let's understand this very well. The model is your database, okay, where you get the data from. That's the model. Then the view, okay. The view is like a request handler. Okay, I'll get there. I would explain that very well to you. Let's skip the view and let's go to the template. Okay, so the template is like your front end, what you see. Okay, so for instance, if I go on Instagram.com, okay, the page that comes up is a template. It's like the HTML, CSS, that's the template. Right. Then we call another one URL. Okay. So we said the URL is what is sent to the server. Okay. Let's say I've done an application and I've hosted it on a machine. If, let's say, Kusi wants to access a particular page, I don't know what he wants, but the system can understand what Kusi wants based on the URL. So let me just open my browser and let's type google.com. Okay, if I type, sorry, google.com, so this google.com is the URL, right? Okay, so if I type google.com, it's being sent to Google server. Okay, and anytime a user or a client types google.com, they say, okay, give the user this template. That's what the user wants. All right, so if, let's say, I type install paper windows. All right, let's check the URL. Okay, let me just use a Chrome browser. Okay, I've opened the Chrome browser. So, all right, so google.com. Google.com. All right. Okay. All right. So once you see the URL changes when I search for something. Okay. So it means send this request to Google, but search for this. Okay. The query is equal to open. And that's what I entered here. So this URL will be sent to Google server, and Google can give you a response and give you a template or the HTML and CSS to show you. All right. So the URLs are, it's like requests from clients. Okay. And the views are request handlers. Okay. So the view are like functions. So for instance, let me just share this again. All right. So this view that we have here. All right. So the view are like intermediary. Okay. So the view stands here. So the view will be here. Then at the top here, we have, let's say, the URL or the request that came from the user. Okay. So the URL. And this request is being sent to the view. So the view are functions. Okay. Then the view will return what we call template or HTML and CSS to what can I do? Okay, so The view will return what we call a response to the client. All right. So the views can be functions or can be the backend or anything. For instance, if a user enters, let's say, tray, and he sends the tray to my website. If the tray goes to my website, I want the tray to go through a series of functions. Let's say add 2 to it and just send it to the user. So it means the user will get 5. Okay. So that function, that series of system that the tray went through, that's the view. That's what we call the view. The URL is what the user sent. Okay. And the response is the HTML and CSS page that was sent to the user. All right. Do you have any question or suggestion? All right. Now, the next thing that you want to install, okay. Let me share. All right. So now you've installed Python, you've installed pip. You need to install what we call the virtual environment, okay, because that's what you are going to use. So we need to create an environment that will work with Django fast. All right. So to do that, you just type pip tray install virtual environment. Okay. Virtual env. Okay. And this one would install the virtual environment for you. So let's type. All right. So he said it's been already installed. Okay. But if you are Windows, you wouldn't type pip3. You just type pip install virtual environment. Okay. So the virtual environment is a package like Django. Okay. We said the pip is what we use to install packages in Python. So that's why we need a virtual environment. So we just type pip install virtual environment. If you're on Mac, just pip3 install virtual environment. So it means we already have virtual environments on our system. Okay. Now, from what we do here, okay. From what we do here, okay. We said this virtual environment is for Facebook and this one is for Twitter. So it means we need to create Facebook virtual environment. So to do that, let's open our command prompt, okay. Then we will type Python -m, okay. This is a parameter, okay. Then venv, okay. That's virtual environment. Then the name of the virtual environment. So the name of the virtual environment, let's call it Facebook project, okay. We just click enter. Okay, sorry, if you're on Mac, it's Python 3. I always keep forgetting. If you're on Windows, just Python will work. Just type enter, okay. So it has created the Facebook project virtual environment for us. So to confirm that, let's go into the folder, okay. So we just go there. Okay, sorry, we just go into all right. So we have here, okay. So once you open the folder, you see it has added some things to it, okay. So it has created the Facebook virtual environment for us. If you are Windows, it's the same thing. You can see it using ls, okay. So command prompt, just type ls, and you'll be able to see the folders and files that are in your current directory. So here you can see I have Facebook project here. So it's the same thing here. Okay, so you see what is here is the same here. All right, so just type ls if you're on Windows or ls if you're on Mac, it's the same thing. Now, we need to go into the Facebook project or the Facebook virtual environment to start working with it. Okay, so to do that, now we are learning command prompt 2, okay, scripting. We just have to go into that folder. So if is UI, user interface. You just double click on that folder to enter it. But if you are on command prompt, okay, to enter into a folder, you type CD. CD means change directory, okay? So CD space, then the name of the folder. So just type Facebook project. All right, so now we are inside the Facebook project. It's like I've double clicked on the Facebook project. It's the same thing that we are doing here. Okay. And also, to start the virtual environment, you see, everything that I'm doing now is on my machine. But now I want the command prompt or the terminal I'm using to act like we are inside the Facebook project. Okay. Entering it like this doesn't mean we are in it. It's an environment. It's a machine on its own. Okay. So we need to start the virtual environment. It's like we need to start the PC. So to do that, we just have to go into the bin folder. Okay. If you're on Mac, okay, if you're on Mac, just type source, then space, okay. Then you just have to go into the bin folder. So dash / dash a full stop / means parent folder. / means you are going into a different folder. Okay, we want to enter into the bin folder. We want to enter into the bin folder. So just type / bin. Okay. So let's open the bin folder and see what's in. Okay, so enter into the bin folder and we have what we call activate. Okay, so that's what we need to do. So to enter into the bin folder, we just have to bring /. Okay, so it means we are inside the bin folder. Then we type the activate. You press enter if you're on Mac. All right. So when we entered bin /activate, okay, now it has changed. Okay, it has changed that the virtual environment has been activated. So you can see, if you are on Windows, you can see the name of your project, the name that you gave to it would appear on the far left-hand side of the terminal that you are using. All right, so now we've started our virtual environment. Okay. The next thing to do is to install Django. Okay, is to install Django. We didn't want to install Django on our main laptop. We wanted to install it on the virtual environment. Now we've created the virtual environment, we've activated it, we have to install the Django on it. So to install the Django, what you need to do, please can someone tell me, how can we install Django? I've talked about it now.
Pip install Django.
Yes, okay. So that's nice. I just wanted to hear the pip install. Okay. We said we use the pip as a package manager. So to install anything that's related to Python, we use the pip space install, then the name of it. When we're installing the virtual environment, we use pip install virtual environment. Okay. So it's the same thing we need to do for this one. So we just type pip install Django. Okay. Then we type enter. Okay, so it's downloading Django in my virtual Facebook project virtual environment. It's very slow. That's why I always want to install them before 20 plus. Now, we've installed Django in our project, okay? So let's confirm. Okay. So to confirm that we have Django in our virtual environment, what you need to do is just to type Django admin. Okay. If you are Windows, do the same thing. That's that version. Okay. So we just want to check the version of Django that we have. This is to confirm. You see, now it has given us the version 4.1.7. It means Django has been installed successfully. Django has been installed successfully. Okay. If you're on Windows, do the same thing. Now, it's a project. Okay. The Facebook project that the first thing that we did was to create the environment. Now we need to create a folder, like a project for Facebook. So to do that, you can just type Django -admin start project. Okay. Space the name of the project. So what project do we want to start? Okay, so we want to start, let's say, farming app. Okay, for farming app for Facebook. So it's Django-admin space start project space the name of the project. So farming app. Just click enter. Now you see when in this folder you can see a folder has been created. And once you open the folder, okay, we have manage.py, and inside the farming app, you have these files inside. I will explain further. All right, so what we need to do, okay, is to enter into the farming project. So to do that, we said we use what? Change directory. Okay, it's like double clicking on the folder. So to double click on the folder is change directory. So just type cd space farming app. Okay, press enter. So we are inside the farming app folder. So it's like here. Okay. Now, to start the website or to start the web application or to start the what's the name? The farming app, what you need to do is just to type py, okay, space manage.py, okay, run server, space run server. Then press enter. Sorry, Python 3 manage.py. I'm on Mac, but if you're on Windows, when you use Py to work, if you use Python, it will work. Okay. If I click on enter, it's starting it. Okay, it's running. Now it says the web server has started. It has started on this URL. Okay, so let me just